I guess this is not bad for a little Greek girl from Lowell, Massachusetts, I guess. I kind of started off fighting in the streets. By the time I was 12, I carried a knife. I never used it, but everybody had to know that I had a knife. The Germans, the Irish, the French, the Armenians, everyone in these neighborhoods. This was a mill town. And I got the message really fast. My mother said when people would come and complain at the door, I don't interfere with what my daughter does in the street. There was no talking to me. There was no don't act that way. She understood what was out there. And if I was going to make my way, I had to learn to draw the line. I had to learn to stand up for myself. And that meant that I had to fight my way to school and back from school. As I got older, I became very involved in sports. And I ended up, I got a longer knife, I got a foil, I became a fencing champ. It all kind of, when you look back, it all kind of made sense. Why I felt so compelled to accept any challenge that was around me. I have really two people to thank. My mother and my father. My mother didn't interfere. She didn't interfere. But when I couldn't enter into the New England fencing tournament because I didn't have the right clothes and we didn't have the money, she said, take me to the store. And she saw the clothes and she came back and she put a newspaper on the kitchen table. She cut out a pattern which she had learned to do with the WPA during the Depression. And she made me the clothes. And she even made me a bag for the foil. And she left it on my bed. And I thanked her. And she never made a big deal out of it. She made it possible for me to do that. She always did everything she could to have me take hold of as much freedom as I could. Damatia su tessera, she would say to me. As long as I walked out with my Damatia su tessera. My father, on the other hand, had a great respect for curiosity. And for him, freedom, intellectual freedom, was the most important thing. When at a certain age I wanted to go and join a friend of mine with in another religion, he said to me, all right, go ahead. He said, but every Sunday when you come back, it was a Salvation Army, when you come back, he said, I want you to talk to me. We want to sit down here and talk. He loved argument. He loved argument. I have a son like that now. He was like that. He loved argument. You take this side, I take that side, we go at it. And he would insist that you couldn't back away from the argument. When he first came to this country, he formed a club called the Demosthenes Club in Lowell and played Oedipus Rex in classical Greek. He had a great love for antiquity. That thing about about every word has a Greek's origin. He was on that every minute. That was something that meant a great deal to him. Did they sacrifice? Yes, they did. I never knew that when growing up that we were poor. I never knew that. I once remember seeing my father's shoe. It had a big hole in the bottom. And I thought, why does he have that big hole in his shoe? I never knew that. This was during the Depression. I didn't know that. And even later on, I didn't know that that we were poor. All I did know is that they had, I didn't know anything about what they suffered and what they sacrificed. What they showed me always was a great appetite for life. They were constantly reading, the two of them. They were constantly creating projects for themselves. They were constantly looking to see. My mother joined the Arlington Philharmonic and sang the Messiah, and we had to go. My father would say, well, we have to go, we have to go. My mother is the shortest person in the whole place. She was 5 feet tall. She said she was 5, but I think she was really 4'11". She was, I mean, they were constantly doing it. They never stopped. They never ceased. There was such an appetite for them. So tonight, of course, it's, for me, sitting here, and Jim, thank you for your wonderful intro. Hearing all of that, I know that they would be deeply moved. Michael and I in 1988 were sitting in these limos running around to raise money, and he said to me, what do you think our fathers would be doing if they were alive now? And we both started to cry because we knew what they would be doing. They would be crying for us. So up there I know Konstantin Stylianos Dukakis is crying, and Alexandra Christos Dukakis is telling me, don't let it turn your head. So thank you very much.